Welcome back. We are discussing attitude, behavior, or the role of courtesy on the roads, if you like, in decongesting Nairobi. This is a follow-up episode on our earlier program on the impact of traffic snarl-ups in the city. As part of feedback from that show, viewers wanted more discussion on the need for change of attitude.
My name is Barry Frank.
And Frank, for you, what causes congestion in the city?
What causes congestion? Definitely, there is a number. First of all is the motorcycles, because they're everywhere. Then they don't obey the traffic rules, because the motorcycles, they are small, so they can pass anywhere, you see. So, and for that they cause the congestions. Also the pedestrians, they cross anyhowly. And for that, the drivers, like you can see here, they avoid collision with the pedestrians. So it causes congestion, and also not obeying the traffic lights.
So for you, it's an attitude problem?
Yeah, definitely.
So what should be done?
Okay, actually what should be done is the traffic police should be more active in their jobs. So that to make sure that everything runs smoothly, because there's no way that kunaweza kuwa na problem ya jam when the traffic police are there.
Stakeholders, on the other hand, say professionalism can be achieved by putting in place strict rules regarding employment of drivers of public service vehicles. Edwin Mukabana, the managing director of the Kenya Bus Services Management Limited and a former board member of the National Transport and Safety Authority, says before the public transport sector was privatized, discipline among drivers in the sector was relatively better.
The driver becomes loyal if he is on permanent basis, becomes loyal to you. He is more, you can train that particular person for a particular purpose. Right now, even if you brought in a driver today, you will train him, tomorrow he would have jumped off to go to another place, because the job market is so volatile and people are trying to look for places where they can make money. But at that time, somebody was secure, he knew he had a pension, he had NSSF, he had a medical cover, he had overtime payments, and all the benefits that go with any normal job elsewhere.
Siku hizi kumekuwa na reforms kwa matatu, by the way. Na zile reforms zimekuwa si vile watu walikuwa wanaona watu wa matatu wakiwa watu wabaya those are the days. Siku hizi mambo imebadilika. Yeah.
Kuna discipline wani yako?
Kuna discipline iko salama kabisa kwa watu wa matatu.
Are you employed ama ni kibarua?
Mimi nimeemployiwa hapa.
Maana yake shida nyingine ilikuwa ni vibarua akifanya makosa ameenda.
Yeah, wakati wa zamani hakukuwa na wale madereva wenye walikuwa wanakaa na gari zaidi ya 2 months ama 1 month. Siku hizi unapewa gari na mzee anakuambia fanya kazi. Kwa hivyo unafanya kazi ukiwa sure ni kazi umeamuka.
Lakini private motorists wana complain, nyinyi hamfuati rules. Mnaenda mna block junction, mna block nini, so inaleta jam.
Okay, kwa upande wetu sisi kama mimi kwa niaba ya madrivers wengine, watu wa gari dogo naweza sema sana hawajui kuendesha magari zao vizuri. Sababu hawajui magari zao vile zinatoshana, ile speed, ile acceleration inaweza accelerate gari yake, mtu gari yake ikakuwa na speed fulani hivyo. Sasa sisi tunajua magari zetu vile tunaendesha.
And recently, we brought you the inspiring story of a Kenyan professor who has helped fix London's transportation system. He is Professor Washington Ochieng, the head of the Center for Transport Studies at the Imperial College London, a leading university globally in transport studies and practical work in assisting nations improve that sector. He told the Chamwada Report that it does not help when you have lack of consistency and a mix-up in traffic enforcement procedures. For example, when motorists get confused between following traffic signals or police signals.
I think that the issue is basically there are two issues, one of culture and the other one is to do with basically credibility of what actually has been done. Okay. So in the West, for example, all those particular interventions that you talk about in terms of improving safety and flow are done completely and exhaustively. And then we have legal statutes, things that are actually legal in enforcing them. Okay. So what you don't want to have is that in one particular junction there is demarcation for do not enter, and in the other one there isn't. Because what that actually says to somebody is, okay, if they didn't put it in the second one, then maybe I shouldn't actually obey the first one. And that kind of scenario will be quite common in developing countries. Okay, so that kind of behavior, if you like, in terms of the provision of infrastructure, somehow influences the behavior of the driver in saying, if they don't care, I don't care either. So I think what you have to do is to provide transportation infrastructure with all the elements that are required everywhere. And then the second thing is you've got to enforce it.
The transportation scholar raised certain obstacles that prevent people like him who are shining in the diaspora from contributing towards improving governance in their mother countries, especially in the developing world.
I mean, from where I'm sitting, I think there is a level of lack of grasp of the complexity of the problem. That's one thing I feel. And to some extent, that is on the basis that I make that statement on the basis that I don't think there is enough local expertise in the area. That's the first thing. The second thing is that to address them, it will require quite a significant level of investment. So there is the question of the capacity of a nation or a developing nation to be able to do that. And the third thing is good governance. Obviously, is an issue. Not accusing anyone, but what I'm saying is that significant investment that's required would have to go in at that amount. You know, it cannot go in at 10% less or 90% less, because what happens is that you probably end up getting what you think you wanted, but actually there would have been certain aspects of it would have been compromised, which would mean clearly that the life of the particular infrastructure is reduced, for example, or maybe it's not completely installed. So I think it's a multifaceted issue that I think we should address in a very systematic way, rather than picking something in the middle to introduce it now within an uncontrolled environment. I think that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But NTSA and the county government of Nairobi are telling the professor that he is most welcome, and he is assured that it will no longer be business as usual.
No, we'll send him an invitation. We are setting up the Nairobi Metropolitan Transport Authority. These are the kind of people we need to come back and run that authority.
But the implementation is the problem in Nairobi. We talk, but implementation takes very long. Number two, we need to create a transport authority. I think there is one in the offing called NAMATA, which is the Nairobi Area Metropolitan Transport Authority. This needs to come in very, very quickly to take over public transport management, to take over traffic management, to take over centralized fare collection, to take over route planning, and to take over public transport infrastructure management, so that all those things are put under one roof and they are managed together in the metropolitan area.
Time now for the feedback segment. We asked you to give us your views, your contributions about the relationship between behavior and congestion in Nairobi City. Arnold Nduva says he is confused whether to obey traffic lights or traffic officers. In his feedback about threats to decongesting the city, Nyar Kogelo adds, the confusion is because of traffic cops who won't let the lights work. Mark Muthe, on the other hand, tweets, the pedestrian threat is so true. Assumptions and ignorance of traffic regulations is scaring. He asks, you think vehicles have eyes? And Kwea G says, allowing runaway matatu culture in CBD is a threat to decongesting the city. With that feedback, we come to the end of the show. Next week, find me in Isiolo and Garissa, where I will be looking at what is being done to minimize conflicts that arise from inadequate resources like water and pasture. Until we meet then, I'm your host, Alex Chamwada, and bye-bye for now.